No.
Here we go, peeps. Wednesday night,
All right.
The Room podcast. Richie Santiago.
What's up?
Brendon Boats in The Room podcast for the first time, man.
Here we go.
Appreciate you coming down, my man.
Piece of cake, easy drive.
Was it straight ahead kind of thing?
That's not bad. These little back roads are tough, but otherwise we're good. Like 55 minutes.
One thing, just make sure you guys get a little, closer to
Closer?
the mic.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Not like way, putting them in your mouths or something. But Tommy's in here. He sounds like a friggin', a disc jockey when he comes. Yeah.
Why does he get close?
Wolfman
Get
Jack
real
and shit.
intimate with it?
Yeah, he's fucking like all over that thing. So.
That's why I don't want to get so close to it. God knows what's been on this
So let me
thing.
just check these very
Who's using this
quickly.
mic?
That's all right. That's all right. So Richie, you've been in here a few times, and you actually
Few times.
you got to play the drum set that
I
has
would-
made its way in here.
Well, you had the little electronic drum
Yeah.
pad, and I gave you a little taste of what I could do that time. But then now you got the real kit, so I'm about to show you a little bit of what I can do.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do that later. We'll take a little tidbit for Instagram stories. Brendon shaking his head like
No
he's
musical
never
ability.
touched a drum
Nope.
set in his life.
Never, not one.
Now, you walked into the room. Did you have any desire to hit it at all?
Of course. I mean, what guy doesn't want to hit the
a drum
stupid
kit.
drums as
Yeah,
soon
it's
as they
like
see it?
everyone
Yeah.
wants to hit a
It
drum.
would
Of
sound like a
course.
toddler though. Hitting
No
the
one
thing,
wants to
but-
pick up a guitar. Like if they never picked up
Right.
a guitar, they're not going to walk in. Oh, let me see that.
That's
If
true.
you see drums, they're like, oh, you got sticks. They start hitting cymbals and shit.
Yeah,
even though,
guitars are more intimidating.
Yes, exactly.
What male human being doesn't like to just bang shit? It's like-
So
There
guys,
you go.
welcome, man. It's been, I think it's a week and a half, a little over a week and a half removed from
Yeah.
Kate's Titan 63.
Solid card. We were just talking. It was kind of a sleeper card, I guess. Not like the craziest card going into it, but then all the fights delivered, so it ended up being a great night.
Yeah, there wasn't. I'm trying to think. I don't think there was one bad fight. Oh,
No, not at
all
all.
night. No snooze fest. Lots of finishes.
At the beginning of the card, Mike came by us, the media table, and we were all in kind of the same vibe going, Mike, tonight seems like it's going to be kind of a special night. You know what I mean? Something's going to be special tonight. And that was a great card, like you said. And it kind of just flowed right through up until, the main event, after party. No one's rushing to get there. The night just, it seemed like they went pretty smoothly.
Yeah, and it was one of those nights too where even like during the main event, you could see the stands were still relatively full. People had left, but generally by the end of the night, people are ready to get out of there. Yeah. But people stayed for the main event, and I always love that. That's always a good sign.
Yeah, I say that all the time. I feel bad for the main event guys half the time. It's like they're usually among the best guys there, and the place is half empty because people take off.
Well, you had Justin Valentin fighting for the first time for Cage Titans. He comes out of a huge gym with the UFC guys, and studs still fighting. They probably brought a few people. I saw Justin's crowd taking pictures post-fight, and he had a few people. But Mitch Raposo, this could be the last time, I would imagine, you're seeing him in New England. So, of course, people want to send him off. So people are definitely going to watch that main event and see him. And it did not disappoint, man. He won the Kill Combat Fight of the Night award or Performance of the Night award.
Cool.
And there was a few to choose from as far as people that went there and did exactly what they said or they were going to do in there. It was a good card, a lot of finishes and a lot of really cool fights with some really good prospects and matchups. That you don't see much in New England. You are nowadays, but gosh, you didn't see New England fighter against New England.
Yeah, and it was one of those to stay on Justin and Mitch. That was, like you said, it was one of those big main events where it was the two best guys in the division in New England, two local guys going at it. And, Mitch looked amazing. I think Mitch, obviously, he's been there already with Contender Series and the Ultimate Fighter. I think, he was young. He had a lot to learn still, but I think in this fight in particular, it showed he really matured because a couple of his fights after getting off the big show, he had that big knockout at CES, but then this one he fought a guy who was really good, really talented, who was really sticking in there, and he just put on a clinic. He looked amazing.
And this was number one and number two going against each other, and it did not disappoint. And one thing that Justin was saying, Mitch put it on him. And for him to stay in that fight because, he made that big post about, wanting to quit that first round and he had to, talk himself out of it. And, man, that's a lot to go through in someone else's neighborhood against the number one guy who's, legitimately going to be a force to reckon with in the UFC. So to get over that and get through it, Valentin's just going to come out stronger. You know what I mean? And he's still in that hunt as far as long as he stays active. You know what I mean? He can't fight. I know he's got a lot going on, but if he wants to make a push for something special, he's going to have to fight at least a couple times a year, 2 or 3 times a year.
I mean, he's not going to find. I mean, how many better guys than Mitch is he going to find around here, right? To fight against it, So he's, if anything, he's going to get easier fights that he's, likely going to win. I would think. But yeah, I mean, Mitch deserves to get to the UFC. It's enough already. Get him there.
We had some outsiders or some out of New Englanders come in and get a couple of wins. Jonathan Piersma making his Cage Titans debut and didn't disappoint. We kind of knew what we were going to get out of him. It gets to the ground, and it's that's how it's been in every one of his fights on the ground. And then Jake Hixenbaugh, same thing, came in, and they both got finishes coming into hostile territory, man.
Oh, yeah.
Jonathan, we have both of them as guests, and Jonathan put a post out today saying that, fight news coming soon. So I would imagine there is a contract ready to be signed, and we, we'll get a little beans. I'm sure he can't say a hell of a lot, but we'll rattle his cage a little bit.
I think I know.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I can't
is
say
Richie
either,
allowed
though.
to spill the beans? That's the question.
No, absolutely not.
So
No, but Piersma, man, that's a kid. Like if you're following the region, you know who that kid is. He is good, man. He's had a couple fights. He went up to Neff, right? He fought
won the title against Sanders.
Yeah, he beat Sanders, and then he fought Sanat Armoudi at Combat, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and that one really, I was at that one, and he really impressed me in that fight because I've known Sanat for a long time. I used to, when I was first starting, I used to cross train with Florians a lot, and Sanat was like a not black belt, but brown belt world champion. So his grappling is top notch, and Piersma out grappled him, so I was like, okay, this kid is legit.
And to end that fight, Piersma, his striking was what got him on the ground to eventually end that
to
fight.
Finish it.
And Piersma coming off, his first real devastating loss as a pro. He had a split decision against Radke, I think, who's two fights in.
Yeah, Charles
winning,
Radke.
and that fight could have went either way.
Mm-hmm.
And then he fought another stud at LFA right before, Cage Titans. Well, a few months passed, and he got that he was quickly knocked out. Came back with a vengeance against a dude that's got pretty good stand-up,
Tough
has
guy,
some pro boxing, and is a stud as far as athleticism and heart, because I've seen him fight, your training partner at Triforce, and the kid looks like he's out of gas, and he has that extra gear to at least stay in it and overpower a lot of his opponents I've been seeing. So this looked like a great fight on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Piersma gets you down, man.
Yeah, he dominated.
That's the pieces you got to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron's a tough dude, a scary dude, but yeah, once that crucifix was on, right, it was pretty much
it was all sure out.
No escaping that, especially in pro, right, when you can elbow. I feel like in amateur
exactly.
you can survive it a little bit because it's tough, to get the angle on it, but as soon as you can elbow.
And, you could still see Trussell trying to
Yeah.
buck him, and that strength. You saw that strength. He was actually lifting him off anyone else
Wrestlers,
might have
man.
reversed it.
Yeah.
But Piersma, forget it. Top pressure. What was the vibe you heard from Piersma? Because he could be fighting again in the area, and he's a legit 170er. And as we see, there's people that are afraid to fight people and stuff like that. So was there a vibe about him coming in or after the fight between fighters, that you might hear in the back, like, that fucking kid's a beast or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think the vibes were kind of like, I think some of the people didn't really know who Piersma was. They didn't really know what to expect. They've seen Trussell. But like me personally, I was in the back being like, hey, this kid Piersma, like, keep an eye on him. I've seen him fight before. I know he's good. And, he looked amazing. And, Yeah, like I said, I mean the vibes. It's always cool seeing like kind of like the outsider, like you said, come in for their first time. He's already an established guy, but the Cage Titans community is such a like tight, like dedicated community. They see this guy, they say, all right, it's his first time here. Like, what's he all about? And I think he impressed a lot of people.
Yeah. So nice. Before we get Jake Hixenbaugh on, we got one more minute. And we'll get back in between them and after we get off the phone with them a little bit about the card. But anything in your mind that stood out? I mean, there was a lot, but anything that stood out?
Yeah, I mean, I loved Ozzy. I love Ozzy Martin, or is it Martin?
Oh, yes.
He goes by Ozzy Martin, right? But his Facebook
Martin.
name's Martinez, but I don't know. But I was actually in line with his family on the way in, and they didn't introduce themselves as his family, but I'm looking, I'm like, okay, that's his brother. Clearly, they look exactly the same. And it's like his girlfriend, his mom, or whatever. But I was chatting to them a little bit. But yeah, that move to Nostos, I think, has been huge for him too. Just training with those guys. I mean, I'm sure it was what Lakes region, right? Was where he was before, which is another good gym too. But Nostos, I feel like just probably has more guys, right? More good guys to train with. Yeah. That's the coolest thing to me. I love that. Like he and Brody beat the hell out of each other, right? And now they're like the two training partners. That's the coolest thing.
That fight
And a
was
ton of Nostos and people from up north that way took the trip. To support that kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know why people don't take that dude down. Like, and I'm sure his ground game is good too, but I'm not. What are you doing? Like,
It could be the matchups too, maybe.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you
I
know
mean,
what
if you're a striker, I get it, but no thanks.
But dude, his hands, he throws.
Isn't
with
it when he
lethal
feels
intent.
when the shot
I mean,
guys
even against
turn black,
Brody,
he feels
Every shot is so much power. I mean, he just swings. It's so beautiful looking.
And you can do nothing but cover up because if you try to throw, you're gonna fucking just
those
you're gonna be
little
out
gloves,
cold.
man. He still gets through there.
You're just hoping he gets tired, the other guy, or you're in shock from the melee of punches on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
He's such a good dude too. I just like the guy. Such a nice guy.
Following him on Instagram, I believe they own a ranch. He's part of a family ranch or
I didn't even
something.
know that.
That's cool.
Unless I'm following someone else, but they follow me, and I think I've seen him in the post. I think they might have a ranch. Can someone out there, confirm
Makes sense.
that?
Up in New Hampshire, you never know.
I'm gonna have to look for that on Instagram and show, but I think he might be a rancher, a tough cowboy.
Oh, there you go.
There you go, man. All right, let's give Jake Hixenbaugh a call. Always fun to talk to this kid, a young kid who is talking to me now. All right, Jonathan Piersma will be up right after Jake, so let's get Jake on the phone and see if this works, people. He's all I want to shut that snare off. Oh, what's up, handsome? There you go, Richie.
Hey.
All right, let me get you in here, my man. All right, get that out of there. Let me get you smaller. What's up, Mr. Hixenbaugh, bro?
What's up, guys?
Can you hear us good? Can you see us?
What's going on?
I don't know if you can see us all. You probably just see
Yeah, I can
Richie.
see you.
Don't need
you see us all?
to see all of us.
Do I
I'm
gotta
ugly.
turn my phone?
No, you look good. We can keep it that way. I'm going to play with it a little bit as we're getting acclimated. Buddy, week and a half removed from your fight, man. Not a scratch on your face. It looks... talk about the fight and how excited and how you feel about it, coming out of Cage Titans with that win.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, what you were asking me?
Yeah, how you feeling about the win?
Yeah, no, I feel good, dude. Like, I kind of, as expected, that was our game plan coming in. Just do basically what I did to the kid. He talked a lot leading up. He called me out, called me a pussy, and all this. So it felt good to really, make him bleed and quit.
Now, Jake, you felt him the last fight as far as, what he had in them few seconds that you were actually, going at it. Did you see the same thing happening in this fight? Was it kind of the same game plan going in against him this time around?
Yeah, I just knew that I could get a hold of him, and once I get a hold of him, like, my grappling was a lot better, and I knew once I get on top, like, he wasn't gonna really get up, and I knew he'd try to go for some sort of guillotine, but I already felt it before, and I trained with really good grapplers, so I wasn't really too worried about it at all. So I knew that I was stronger than him. I knew that my grappling and all that was stronger than him, and I can take anybody down at 55. So that's kind of how I saw it playing out.
Jake, did you get nervous when he was throwing the elbows that we might get another back of the head situation?
Well, a few of them got weird. Not really too bad, but like, I don't know. They didn't really hurt at all. Like, I didn't even have a bump from. It was crazy. Like, I was like feeling my head after too, and like, I didn't have a bump. So like, I felt like it felt like, I'm not even getting disrespectful. They felt like it was just like a pillow hitting my head.
I can tell you we were nervous in the crowd.
Head,
If we were nervous in the crowd, I was like, please don't let this thing get stopped again. For someone we need some closure to this fight at some point.
Well, Jake, was he saying anything to you as he was throwing the elbows? I mean, because you were on top.
His corner was going, don't even try this, Hixenbaugh. Those are legal.
I like that, though. I
almost wanted to, like, posture up and go, I know, man, fuck you. But instead I postured up and I hit him with an elbow, cut him, and that's when, like, he kicked me off, and yeah, I finished the fight.
Getting that finish, how'd you feel, man? I'm sure totally excited, but it had to be a really weight lifted off your shoulder after months of a lot of stuff going on social media. What was the feeling when you got that win? I've seen you have celebrations before. It's a great time, but this was something different as far as getting this win, right?
Yeah, it definitely was. Like, I felt like, I don't know, I've never really ever had any situation where I've, like, not liked a person or, like, this person has, like, disrespected me in every sort of way. He's got people, commenting and stuff and calling me a pussy and all this stuff. Like, I'm not even sitting here really talking shit at first. He's, like, calling me out and, like, I'm like, whatever, like, we can get it at this date. He couldn't get it at that date or whatever, September. He's talking shit. Like, I don't get offered the fight. He's talking more shit that I'm ducking him. So it was just kind of like, it just was building up and up and up, and it just gets stressful. Like, I'm a young kid still. Like, I'm 24 years old. So, like, I'm getting mad at times. Sometimes it's hard to deal with emotions. But when I'm in the cage, like, I knew that, like, I was better than him, and my coaches knew that I was better than him. It was just about getting to business, and once that business was handled, it did really feel really good just to, end that. I kind of like having bad blood fights now.
Did you guys squash it, though? Like, you guys all right now? I know you'll probably never be best friends.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm just going to be real. Like, we didn't really even have a beer together. I don't know what that was about.
Did someone say that? I missed it.
Was there a beer in the after party deal?
It said we had a beer after the fight. We talked after the fight. We got a picture. He said his elbow was hurting, and then I felt my head, and I was like, my head doesn't really hurt that bad. Like, I'm not being a dick when I'm saying that. It really.
I must have missed it. I didn't see the beer photo.
It hurt. I would have said it hurt, but and then we got a picture. He's not a bad kid, dude. Like, he's a respectful kid, and I showed respect back. He did stuff to hype up the fight, and this stuff's a little bit more real to me. So, I don't like. I'm not going to sit here and be friends with him, but, yeah, I respect him.
Well, my friend, now you are 3-2. Came out of that fight, it looks like unscathed, except, maybe your elbow hurts a little bit, maybe?
Yeah, no, my shin, actually. He had one good leg kick, and I had, like, a little bump on my shin, and then I had a grappling tournament this past weekend that I competed at. We could talk about soon, too. That really kind of blew my shin up a little bit more.
Well, what happened?
Other than that, like, out of the fight, like, just a mini bump on the shin, and that was it.
So jumped right onto the mats right after this fight. How'd you do at the tournament?
It was against some really good opponents. I had, like, 3 really good matches. I ended up taking gold in it. I ended up winning.
Nice.
Sweet.
Winning some money.
Active,
Yeah, it was cool experience down there. I was actually down there to really corner one of my good friends, Chandler Moody. He was his first MMA fight, and he ended up winning that 30-27. He dogged the kid pretty easily, all 3 rounds. You know.
Oh, so it was a tournament like it was grappling and MMA.
Yeah, yeah, it was a grappling tournament earlier in the day, and then
nice.
like it was like the fight. They held fights later that night.
Like reality kind of,
cool.
right?
Was this
Reality
this
stuff,
wasn't the kid I met at the wharf, the after party, was it? I know you had a kid there that you were like hyping up a little bit about the next big thing.
Oh no, that was Dalton. That was
right.
Dalton.
Well, Jake, you got to get to the after party this time. Did you get to have a beer or two? Last time.
No, I had like in the less than hour I was there, I had a good amount of drinks. People kept giving me shots. I went to the back.
Do it.
Like it was a blur.
That's how you
Bro,
do it.
one thing that was awesome, bro, was you guys had like the whole corner of the wharf as the Piersma and the Hixenbaugh crew over there. Man,
Yeah.
it was a good time. Everyone got to sit there, eat, and man, you had a lot of support coming there. How'd that feel for you to, go in there with John and have his people helping you out with support and vice versa?
It felt really good, dude. Like, we used to fight together on the amateur days. We've been training together since like 2018.
Oh wow.
So, like, we haven't fought together on the same card in so long since like amateur days. So it's been years. It felt good to just, share a fight day with him again, do that trip. Both of us get to finish, in really good fashion and came out unscathed. So we had some drinks after, and it was a good night. He was there longer than I was.
Nice.
Some of us were there a lot longer than
But
others. too.
I,
Let me tell
I
you.
think I told you this. People always ask me like, "Oh, you go to the after
There's
party
always
after your
fallout.
fight?" And I'm like, "No." Like, why that? I'm 46 years old. I'm like, what? They're like, oh, what do you like? Oh, what do you do?
Steve's like, wait, what?
Yeah,
No.
hold my
Listen.
beer.
I got 3 little kids at home. You don't. So everyone always says that to me, and they're like, "Oh, what do you do?" I said, "I go to my hotel room and I eat cookies in my underwear." Like I haven't eaten properly, in like
bad.
2 months. I'm
Not
not going.
bad.
And plus, the place is full of like 20 somethings. Like, what are they gonna talk to me about? Like, hey, Grandpa,
Well, that's how
doing?
I
Hey,
feel.
you'd
when
be
I go, when
surprised.
I
You'd
drink,
be
I drink
surprised.
enough that I feel I relate to him at that point. I'm like,
I eat garbage food for 3
But
hours. and
I'll
pass
just
out.
say I didn't get home till 5:30 in the morning on fucking Sunday
Correct.
morning. So I had a good time Saturday night. I could have stayed. I could have stayed, but I'd rather sleep in my own bed unless it's with someone gorgeous.
I was home and cozy. No time. No time.
So Jake, man, what's next for you? Timeline? You had this fight early a year, right off the bat. What's timeline as far as getting back in there? I'm sure New England's looking for you. Other places around your neighborhood. What are you looking for?
So I want to go get in end of March or beginning of April. I gotta go. My brother's getting married at the end of this month, so I'm gonna be going out of the country for a week at the end of this month. But I'm gonna be training all the way up till then because it's Jake's camp. I leave on the 21st. Jake fights on the 24th, and then I'm right back to training. It's just 5 days off and then back to training. So end of March. Early April, I'll be back.
Is it Jerry Muse?
Anyone,
Jerry Muse rematch?
anywhere, I don't care.
What country? Where you heading? You said
Antigua.
fucking.
Oh, wow.
Hey,
That's where I had
bro,
my honeymoon.
Congratulations,
That's
bro.
cool.
Hey, another thing, man. You were all excited at the wharf when you heard that you were nominated for the Kill Award for Performance of the Night. I thought you got it when you told me. I was ready to have you buy me a couple of beers and a shot. I thought you had some extra
I got
fucking
an
money.
I got an award from somebody else.
Oh, what was
So
that?
I got some sort of other. Somebody walked up to me and was like, "Hey, some like Two Fight Brothers Co."
Oh
whatever."
yeah, the management. Yeah,
I didn't even know. Wait, was I really? Was I nominated for a kill?
I thought so. I forget it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's what you were telling me about.
Yeah, I was telling you about that.
Jake's like,
I
wait,
got-
wait,
yeah.
is
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
is there
Am
more
I owed?
money out
Am I
there?
owed
There's
money?
more?
Yeah. Where's the check?
So all right, the Two Fight Brothers, would they just hand you a fucking some cash, a trophy?
No, they sent me money.
Nice. Good for them.
Oh,
Nice,
yeah.
buddy. Good for you, my man.
That's cool. Yeah,
That's
that was
cool.
a
Them too.
bonus.
They didn't even publicize that either. I don't think.
Yeah,
I didn't
did
hear
you,
about that.
Did you make a post about it or anything like that, or?
No, I've been kind of like, I should have.
You get that going right now. Get that manager on that. Speaking of managers,
That's
man,
cool.
I'm sure your manager team were very excited about that. I saw John Piersma made an announcement today that he's got some fight coming up. He said fight news coming soon. I'm not.
Yeah.
I would imagine you know something. I'm not going to ask you. I'm going to drill John a little bit about it.
Do you want me to be real, dude?
Yeah.
I don't even know. But I saw strap season on there, and he's getting a belt somewhere. Whoever he's fighting, I'm sorry.
Nice.
Hey, grappling with him and working with John to get ready for fights and just as a training partner, man, what's it like, bro? Because he's just a fucking bear.
Yeah, he is. So I've been sparring him for years. So whenever we do jiu-jitsu, it's like he's so strong, man. You can't even move him at all. It's like you would think like he'd wrestled his whole life, but he didn't wrestle at all growing up. Wow. And he can out wrestle, college wrestlers, and when it comes to jiu-jitsu and stuff. And but like he's gotten my grappling game so much better. I feel like I kind of, I'm able to do that to people my size because I work with him so much. It's him and Jake have really made my grappling like really good, and wrestling and all that.
Excellent. Jake, from that first pro fight to this last one at Cage Titan 63, what have you grown in as you see, not only mentally, physically, everything as far as that first fight up until now?
Wait, my bad. What were you saying?
I said, how have you grown since that first pro fight up until this fight? Emotionally, physically, everything as far as what's going on with you up until now.
I feel like I really got my feet under me with this, and I got everything, like the whole process down on fight day. I've always been pretty good with my emotions, but like I don't know, getting the energy right and how like when I'm doing the warm-ups and all this, like I feel like it's just gotten more and more fun because the competitions went up more and more, and it's made me have to grow up. And I feel like I don't know, as time goes on, like it gets a lot easier. Like you fight one time and you feel like you're a whole different fighter. And like I've already fought 6 pro fights, so I've been a pro for how long?
What, a year and a half, if that?
Yeah, year and a half, I think.
5 fights.
So I feel like I've grown up a lot in the past year and a half, especially after my first loss. Was like to Jerry, and back in March. That's what really kind of made me grow up a lot more, take this a lot more serious.
Well, it looks like Jerry's fight fell through over this weekend, so he's going to be available down the line. And I know that was a name that you brought up, and it wasn't a disrespectful. You just want that fight back. You want to challenge that. You did have your moments in that fight, but that's something you want to get back, right?
Yeah, of course. I want to get that back, dude. I want, like, if I wasn't dealing with some injuries after the competition and fight, I'd think about taking that fight on short notice. Who knows? Because I wasn't scared of.
It's Friday.
But
it's like 3 days. 3 days is pretty
awesome,
time.
right?
I'm a little banged up right now, so I can't really do that right now. So we'll get that, this year at some point in time, and
that was not,
get that one done.
I wasn't even thinking that.
Yeah,
So
right.
good for you guys, the team, management. Heal up, bro. Man, we can't wait to see you again. Hopefully, it might be along John. Hopefully in New England next time. Next time he comes way.
Yeah, dude, that'd be sick. If we're on the same card again, that'd be dope.
All right, my man. Well, you got Jacob fighting in New England again at Combat Zone, getting him ready. That's a huge fight. So you're going to be going into hostile territory because, as we know, Mo's from that area, and you guys are going to be the outsiders going in. But I know you guys love that. Anything you want to leave off with, Jake? Thank yous. Anything you want to say before I let you go? And we'll talk a little bit about you and get to John.
Thank you to my teams that really helped me out for that fight. Thank you to Bones MMA, Shinobi MMA, and also Synthesis MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You guys all, helped me every single camp. I'm eternally loyal to those guys. Also, thank you to all my sponsors. I had a lot more sponsors for this fight, and, I'm keeping the team growing, which is pretty dope. I like that. It's kind of a lot of them to name, so I can't really name them all. But also, thank you to my coach, definitely the most, Jake Bone. He's getting ready for his. Now it's time to get him ready for his fight now. He's looking really good for this one. He's gonna take this dude out. I'm pretty certain this one's gonna be, pretty fast.
Nice prediction. Nice prediction.
I forgot he was fighting Mo.
I'm no disrespect. I like Mo. He's a cool guy, but his Bone's feeling really different right now.
Excellent, my man. Well, Jake, thank you so much. I have your social media up here just as far as your Instagram. Is there anything else that you have other than Facebook and Instagram you want to get out there?
Just follow me on IG. I'm probably not gonna friend a bunch of people back on Facebook unless I really know you. But Instagram, just follow it. We're trying to grow that more and more. I post funny stuff on my story all the time. So
yeah, he's a meme guy.
Oh,
he's
nice.
a meme guy.
Big
He's
meme guy.
He's
Good
an
follow.
awesome meme guy. All right, with that, my friend, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Congratulations on your win. Can't wait to hear what's next for you. I know I'll see you soon with the rest of the fighters as they got fights coming. But, man, congratulations, Jake. Thanks for the time tonight.
thank you guys.
Later.
Hell yeah.
Awesome, my man. So, there we go.
Nice.
Yeah, he's
What a kid.
good.
He's
Yeah.
24. He's young, man.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was that young.
Yeah.
Young kid.
Yeah. How old's Aaron? Isn't Aaron like 29, 30?
28?
27. Yeah. Something like that.
He's still, to me, he's still a kid, too.
Yeah, same.
But, if you look at Aaron and Jake's fight history, I mean, they've both had a ton of amateur
fights, yeah.
fights. You even look at Jake.
Yeah.
Jake had a ton from his first amateur fight was 18, and I think he fought
Wow.
like 8 to 10 times in 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
and
even
became 2 or 3 years.
he's only been pro for a year and a half.
Yeah.
He's already 3-2. That's
Yeah.
a lot of fights. That's 5
freaking
fights.
young.
And the
These
two
young
fights
kids,
he
man.
lost against his undefeated Jerry.
Jerry up. And, what was the other one?
It was not LFA, CFFC. He lost
Okay.
against a stud there. He got
Gotcha.
he got submitted quick.
Because then he fought at NEF, right? Didn't he fight Nate Grimard? Is that who he fought at NEF?
Yes, he beat
Okay,
Nate.
Yeah. I thought I remember
Yeah,
that,
he beat Bruce Richards.
Okay,
Yeah, CES, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was like 2-0, and then he
Yeah.
met Jerry, and he had his moments in the first round there.
Tough kid. Yeah.
Young, you know what I mean? Young kid,
Yeah.
and he talked about that fight. He says, I gassed myself out. I fucking tried too hard to put him out
Yeah.
too soon.
Yep.
And that's what happens. But he realizes that's I like his style. I mean,
Yeah, and he's
That's
learning
it.
a lot, and he gets better every time you see him.
Yeah.
You know?
as far as Aaron, where's Aaron's always going to be.
Aaron's
in
had
fight.
9 pro fights now?
Bunch now.
Something
Yeah,
like
what
that.
is he,
Well,
4
what
and
was
5
he?
now?
Yeah, 4 and 5. Yeah,
I think he's
That's,
4 and
I
5
feel like
now.
he's fought a ton in the last
has.
2
He's
years.
got a ton of
And
fights.
he won- I
And he
think
had a ton of Amy fights,
Yeah,
too.
and I thought I saw him on Table Titans talk about, hey, I'll be ready in March or something.
Yeah, he's already, ready to
Yeah,
go for
yeah,
the next
yeah.
one.
You gotta
so.
give Aaron credit though,
Yeah.
like from based on, I know we lost that fight, but based on where he started as a
Yeah,
fighter, right,
for
to
sure.
now, I mean, improvement wise, is massive difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's going everywhere to get the work.
Want
too,
to tell
you
you
know
a
what I mean?
funny grappling tournament story now that it just occurred to me?
Yeah.
Richie's here. So when I just got my blue belt, right? And just when he was talking about doing a grappling tournament, I was going to do a grappling tournament, good fight tournament, and the brackets come out, and I see the thing. I'm like, the fuck is Richie Santiago in my bracket for at this fucking tournament? I'm like,
Was
this
that
dude.
actually?
I'm like, this dude's like been fighting forever. Like I think he just grappled Johnny at Cage Titans. I'm like,
no
what?
shit.
And I'm like, this sandbagging motherfucker. How is he's not a blue belt?
Oh,
no
I'm a
fucking
blue
way, right?
belt.
So
I was also,
and I'm sure you're a lot.
I was
like,
also a white belt for 9 years.
so I'm sure you're a lot like us. Like it's so sure we barely do gi, right? So it's
Yeah, I
like
didn't
just
do
even
any
to get a
gi.
blue belt took forever. But well, and not to mention I suck. That's part of it too. But so I did.
always says that.
But here's the thing. I never got to grapple him. Here's why. My first no, sorry. I think it was my first gi match of the day. Go to pass this kid's guard, right? And I'm doing great, but there's no points. I go to pass. As I pass, my knee just dislocates, right?
no.
Snaps in half. And I want to say, I feel like your girlfriend was there because she's like, "That's gross. I heard that." And I'm like, "Yeah, it was terrible."
Oh,
so
God.
yeah, I was pissed because it hurt, but also because I'm like,
didn't
well,
know
shit,
that.
Richie
I
was
don't-
gonna kill me, but it would have been cool to like. And I had no designs on ever
That
fighting or
would've been
anything.
fun.
Yeah, it's so funny. It wouldn't have been
That
fun for
would've
me,
been cool.
but yeah, it was.
I
was
remember
like,
that
I was like,
tournament.
how is this dude in my friggin' bracket?
That was a fun tournament.
My son just made fun of me the whole day. He's like, "Yeah, Dad, whatever, you suck." But because he won 2 gold medals and we're driving home, he's like, "You gonna be able to drive?" I don't know. Like, I'm not really sure. 2 foot driving the whole way home.
Speaking of your son, I know you're very high on him and his training.
Yeah, I'm not high on his
man.
attitude in my house, but
Well, how old is he?
14. But I mean, his
That
brother,
must be tough,
yeah, 14,
right?
12,
Yeah.
and 10. My kids, yeah, but he's
All
yeah,
boys?
he's. No, my daughter's 10. She's she's a sweetheart. I want her to train, but she won't. But no, yeah, he is an animal. I'll give him that. Like, he does rounds with like real fighters. Like
Yep.
you know, like he beats the crap out of me. But like he was sparring with Valdina the other day. He does full on rounds with Manny Bermudez. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why? Are you? And Manny's not trying to kill him, obviously, but he's hitting him hard.
I hope not.
I'm like, you're 14 years old, man. Stop. You know what is wrong with you? Like,
Manny's a scary
Like, where's
guy.
your mouthpiece, by the way? His Manny's cracking you in the jaw. You moron.
Yeah, Manny.
You know?
Manny. He kind of he lays it on you. He
Very-
doesn't really lay off you.
Manny-
You want him. You want him.
Manny does not train
No,
easy.
and so here's the thing. So, well, yeah, because Manny's 50% is everyone else's 150%, right? So he was more hitting my son in the body, right? Because he's like, I'm not going to give this kid brain damage, but I could see in my son's face he wants to cry. Like you could just see it.
Yeah,
He's
it's
like, this
hurting.
sucks.
He's getting
But
cracked.
I wanted to be like, dude, you can stop. But he finished the round, and I could see it on his face. I'm like, you want to stop? He said no, and he went and did 2 straight rounds of cupcakes. And I'm like, dude, what the hell?
Johnny.
Like, so I'll give him that. He's a tough
So
SOB.
was it frustration or was it
Yeah, I mean, he
getting-
was in pain too.
Yeah.
He did like 3 or 4 more rounds, and then when we left, he'll be pissed at me for saying this. When we left, he kind of like it all came out in the parking lot.
Yeah, that's
but I was
all
like,
right,
dude,
man.
you held that together for a solid
That's
half
why
hour
Dad's
after
there,
that.
man.
Yeah,
Fucking
That's how you
pick up the
learn.
pieces
Well,
and
plus,
beat up.
people are like, oh, do you help him? Like, help him. He's way beyond me. I'm
Yeah.
fucking useless. This
He's
kid,
fucking talking you down
yeah,
from the
he
the
tees off
bridge
of me.
when shit's
No,
going on.
this is the best, and I don't want to keep talking about my family, but the best thing ever. My first fight, the guy I fought was obviously a donkey, right? And one of the South Shore people was filming it from the crowd, and he was next to my son, and you can hear it. 5 seconds in, the kid throws this like goofy little kick or whatever, and my son in the camera, you can hear him go, "Oh, this guy sucks."
Nice.
0 credit at home, believe me, for anything.
That was going to be my next question. When you're fighting these people, what is going on? Is he
No,
critiquing you? Like,
no.
what's going on?
He's like, "Dad, I would kill that guy." I said, "You're not wrong." Whatever.
Awesome.
Wow.
What's he weighing right now?
He's an inch taller than me now, so he's like 5'11". He's like a $140.
All right.
45. He's still a kid, right? So he's
Yeah,
not,
of
he's
course.
Not,
Yeah,
he's not filled
fill
out.
out.
But sparring him when he was 10 was fun because he couldn't reach me. But now he's got longer reach than I do. So yeah, he dropped me. But 2 weeks before my last fight, liver kick, dropped.
Ooh.
Yep. Bad
To the
but-
body, huh?
He started when he was 9, though.
You're 14.
It's a little emasculating, but it's okay.
I go to the gym with my son now. You know what I mean? He curls a little bit more than me. I'm like, fuck it.
Oh God.
I can imagine that.
So yeah,
And
long story short, Richie didn't get his chance to strangle me. Maybe someday we'll
There you
see.
go.
Awesome. Richie, what's going on with you? All right. So as
Hanging
far as
out.
Cage Titans, I know
Yeah.
you're retired as fighting, and you are part of Cage Titans.
Yes.
What do you do? Can you tell what
What
you
do I
behind
do?
the scenes? Because I saw you carrying cases of beer.
Oh, yeah.
One day and you were on the pitch. So are you making sure everything's flowing as far as you know on the floor and everything?
I commentated for so long.
Yeah.
And not that I got sick of it or anything, but the thing about commentating is you're stuck at the cage all night and you don't really get to enjoy the night at all. Like, obviously, I get to see all the fights and I'm locked in on the fights, but like, you know how fight nights are. There's so much going on. There's so much behind the scenes in the crowds. Like, you miss a
Spitting,
lot of
people
that.
getting spit
People
on.
getting spit on, people getting escorted out by the cops. You miss a lot of that when you're stuck to the cage all night. So, I kind of just like took a step back and was just like, hey, like if somebody wants to like keep taking my spot, like I'm cool with sitting out. And then I just kind of became like kind of Mike's like second in command, where now I'm just kind of running around putting
His
out
eyes,
fires.
his extra eyes and
Yeah, putting out fires and just helping people out and just issues that come up. And it was so if you know how the back works, so Tyler, Mike's brother, is the guy who gets you to bring you down.
Yeah.
Right. And so he's always dealing with the fighters all night. And so he's always bugging Mike for like stupid little things because the fighters ask him questions he can't answer.
Go to him, yeah.
So Mike gets mad because Mike is running around regardless. So that ended up going on to me because I was able to be like, hey, Tyler, like if you have a question you can't answer, talk to me. If I can't answer it, I'll talk to Mike. But, you know, it's usually like little things that I can figure out anyways.
Nice. Lilith, is she like
She's
taking care of the VIP?
She's
like,
yeah,
you know,
so
all that other
she's-
stuff.
Well, so she's in charge of the VIP
Which I need to
tables,
get up
which
there.
is wild. So she takes care of all of that. So that's why you saw me like lugging around beers and stuff because she's like, "Can you go get me beer? I'm out of beer already."
So do they get like special service? Is that what it is? They get,
Yeah,
would
so like we
imagine.
have the tables on,
I never
on
really
the
paid attention
stage.
to it, yeah.
Have you seen like the tables
Oh
on
yeah,
the stage?
yeah.
And then there's like those tables like on the mezzanine in the back. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that's right. I forgot
I didn't
about
know
those.
that.
Yeah, those are VIP tables
Oh,
too.
I didn't know
Right,
that.
right.
And so basically, what you get is you get a waitress.
Got
and
it.
then
Yeah.
they bring stuff
Yeah, it's like
over.
club
Table
seats at a
service,
Yeah,
big
yeah,
event.
you
Right,
know.
right.
Table service.
Right.
So so she's in charge of all of that. So
I gotta sit up there next time.
Well,
maybe.
when my daughter's out of college in a year and a half, I'm gonna have a lot of extra money. So I'm gonna be sitting in those fucking seats.
Why do you think I went back to
Oh.
coaching in
Richie's gonna be
college?
bringing me a whole case to my
you go.
table at that
The,
point.
the whole reason I went back to coaching in college is because my kids can go for free. That's it.
Nice.
Trust me, I'm not trying to pay for that.
Well, I just messaged Jonathan Piersma, so we'll wait for him to get back to us from there. But Richie, as far as Triforce, a lot of changes going there. You guys just moved into a
Oh, I
whole
saw
friggin'
that,
see
yeah.
my
a
video,
whole Disney World MMA.
dude. It's
That's, you know?
nuts. It's like ATT Rhode Island in there now. It's
Yeah.
huge. It
How
is so
far
big.
away is it from the original?
It's the same building.
Yeah,
Oh, it is.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because I did the story on
building's
those
like
guys.
a block
Yeah,
long, though, right?
Yeah, it's a huge building.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
yeah.
it's like a few units down, and it's enormous. Like it's like a maze. Like the first time I went in before it was done, I was like, "This is like a maze. I'm gonna get lost in here." But now that it's done, it's so nice. There's like the one main mat, and then there's another mat that's split down the middle, that's like twice the size, and then there's like two like smaller mats for like privates and stuff. It's just it's so perfect because like when we're training, we have so many people at Triforce. It's insane. So our classes will be like 50 people.
Wow.
And like we always divide it like upper belts and up, and then like all the white belts because there's always tons of white belts. And so now that we have multiple mats, like classes get split up and we can actually have our own space. Right. And then meanwhile, you got the guys over here like hitting pads, doing a private, or fighters over here doing wall work. So everybody can kind of go into their own areas and do their own thing.
And you're just in that atmosphere of this is the fight world.
I don't know if you guys saw my video, but there's like
didn't.
100
No,
people
no,
on the
no.
mats. It's nuts.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
when
I saw pictures and stuff of Tommy Shea threw up some stuff, and I think I saw some Triforce pictures. But
Deleted, but yeah.
yeah, well, I would love to have Pete down here sometime. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
just call in. When,
Such a
Oh,
good
dude.
oh,
you know-
that's fucking.
You know, he's
Oh,
a
he's a
musician,
drummer
right?
too?
right.
Oh,
He went
geez.
to
He's a
fucking
legit
school for it.
musician.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I
Yeah,
spoke to him
yeah.
about that. Yeah.
He's a
when I
legit
interviewed him, Yeah, he
musician.
he talked about it a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I forget it. We
That
can't have
night
him
I
down here.
visited. That night I visited with my son. It was crowded too. Now that you say that, it was. There was a
Yeah,
lot
dude.
of
Was that
people.
spa night on Wednesday night or something?
No. When I did the story on the gym, my son went in. I brought him. He did kids class with Dion, and then I did the grappling class with Pete. But yeah, both of them were packed. with
Always
people.
packed.
A lot of fighters fighting this Friday too. For
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You're gonna be there helping corner.
I'm going to be there with DC and Duma, so that'll be good.
It's so funny, DC. Every
I
time
always
I
call him
interview,
DC.
I'm like,
I'm
call me. I'm saying, I'm like, how can I? Should I just? I should put heavyweight, UFC heavyweight.
Yeah, right.
Former UFC heavyweight.
I'm the
right.
one. I started calling him
views.
that. Nobody called him that before me. Everybody just called him Dan or just
love
Cormier.
There were no Triforce guys in this last Cage Titans card, huh?
Nah,
No, they were probably
not for lack
ready
of
the
trying.
getting
You
ready for
know,
this
I
one.
was actually talking to a couple people in the crowd, but it was a weird one because there was no Triforce guys. I think one Lozon guy.
Yeah, that's
no,
true.
one South Shore guy.
Yep.
usually you get at least 4 or 5
Yeah.
in those places.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's 3 cards this month.
there's so
right?
many cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's-
Well,
that's
when
part
is
of it,
Combat Zone? Is this the end?
Combat
of this
FC
February?
is this week,
Yeah.
and then the 23rd is CES, and the 24th is
Right,
Combat Zone.
right.
So that's 4 cards in 1 month.
Mr.
Nice.
Piersma is ready. Let's go. Let's give this gentleman a call. Pick his brain. What's up, John? How are you, my man?
What's up? How's it going?
It's going well, bro. How's everything, man?
Can't complain.
I'm here with Richie Santiago and Mr. Brendon Boats.
What's up?
How's it going?
2 big fans of yours after Cage Titans 63, man. And,
I was his fan before that.
Yeah, I know.
So was I.
But you gained, let me get his name up here, by the way. You gained a ton of fans Saturday night, John. Richie was mentioning before that, coming from the outside, first time there. Fans, it's a small community over there. They don't really know the outside is coming in, and you really let them know who you are, man. How you feeling about the experience getting into Cage Titans for the first time?
Hey, man, it was awesome. I'd been there about a year before, cornering one of my training partners. It was a pretty cool atmosphere. The venue was pretty cool. So, yeah, it was awesome. Experience to fight. And I had a great time last weekend.
Well, as far as the fight itself, John, when is expected, in your eyes, once it's on the ground, it's your world, man. How'd you feel about the fight itself and overall your performance in there on Saturday?
Yeah, I felt good about it. I was just going in there, to take care of business, get in there, get out. Going into the fight, he was dangerous in certain aspects, but I knew if I was able to close the distance, not get hit with anything, as soon as the fight went to the ground, it was going to be over, and that's pretty much how it went.
Guys?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Anything you want to hit him with there, Brendon?
I was mesmerized because I was just thinking that John is going to look exactly like my buddy Dana in 20 years when he gets a little bit older. I was trying to find pictures. But my buddy Dana used to be the pitching coach for the Red Sox. He's legit, like same beard, only his is gray, and like these dudes are freaking twins separated at birth.
Hey, John, something that I was seeing on like Table Titans. That's their podcast they have. And people were talking about you, and there was a couple of comments, and there was a lot of talk about your wrestling. People actually think you have a big wrestling background, but in fact, you never wrestled. You were a football player, correct?
Yeah, no, I never wrestled.
I did not
know
that.
I started training, but I never actually officially wrestled growing up. They always say that in the broadcast and stuff leading up, I'm this credentialed wrestler, but I never
That's nuts.
until I started training.
That's insane.
So why do you think they automatically think that? I mean, I see like the UFC would like get your background, they know you're a grappler, but why do all these people you think automatically think you have that wrestling background?
I mean, I'm assuming they just watch my fights and I take everyone down, so they probably just go with it, but yeah. I never actually wrestled, like legit wrestling in my life.
Now, as far as when you go against a legit wrestler at this moment, what's that feeling like now? You know what I mean? I mean, you must be right there, or they must be like, you never fucking wrestled in your life? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's MMA wrestling is a lot different than, wrestling. Wrestling, like,
big difference.
I have like good wrestling, yeah, as in like, I go wrestle with college guys and, I hold my own and do all right, but you can put me out in a cage with a, Division I All-American wrestler, and I'm confident I'll be able to take him down. It's a different game, straight up wrestling's different, you know what I mean? It's it's same in certain ways, but it's just totally different. So it's not the same thing, and I think I really strive in MMA wrestling and MMA grappling You know, I can wrestle. You know, I have good wrestling, but I never was a wrestler per se. So, you know, to go straight up wrestle with some really high level guys, you know, they probably beat me in that sense. But, you know, in the cage, you know, I'm confident I can take anybody down.
Anything for him, Richie?
Yeah, John. So after the fight, they were talking about what was next for you, as far as you know, Everett Desolé was on the card. Jack Condon came up. Do you have any thoughts on any of those guys, or did you see any other 170s that you were eyeing on?
Yeah, man, I'm just looking to stay active. You know, I got something in the works here that's not 100% official, but sounds like it's pretty much a done deal. I can't really say what it is yet because
come on.
I can't announce it. But yeah, I'm gonna be back in there pretty soon. And I'm excited.
Tell us what show, at least.
All right, no, you can't say what show. Yeah, tell us exactly what time and what show. John, can you answer? Is it a promotion you fought for before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Okay.
And we did see strap season. Can you say that it might be for some gold? It might be
5-rounder.
Possibly. Yeah.
Okay.
It could be.
All right. So
We're working out the details. But
All right, excellent. Because we did see your post there, so we can at least talk about there's something in the works. And
yeah, there's something that's you know, talking with Lars. It's not 100% pen to paper, but it looks like I pretty much got my next fight lined up, and all the details seem to be worked out. But just wait until I can officially announce that, or the promotion officially announces it.
excellent.
Nice.
Well, John, getting right back in there, we were at the after party, and I talked to Jake about the same thing. You had a lot of support there. You had a lot of family there, a lot of friends that came there. I mean, you took up, you know, a quarter of the wharf there, man.
Yeah.
How cool was that and special to have them come all that way and, you know, support you in you know, kind of hostile territory?
Yeah, man, it's awesome. You know, that's kind of been the story of my career. I've always had to travel. Pretty much I'm always fighting guys from their, you know, their hometowns. This last guy I fought, I think he was maybe Boston. So, I mean, it was pretty much his kind of area. But, yeah, I mean, that's always been my career. I always have good family, friends, support systems. I always travel. I usually always get 20 to 30 people out to fights, even though it's 5-6 hour drives for me and my people. But, yeah, it's always awesome when you get a crowd out there on the road. Get some people back there to support you. But, yeah, it was awesome. It's always great to go out, get a win, and be able to go celebrate.
Excellent. How's the elbow? You said it was a little sore at the after party. I'm sure it's healed up right now. But when you get...
It's good. It's still a little swollen. It's a little sore still, but yeah, no, it's good. I'm fine. It definitely was a little sore and swollen for a week or so after.
Excellent. Anything for this gentleman right here?
No, I was still waiting for the fight news, but
Yeah. Well, John, here's something that I did see from my perspective and the crowd. You know, around the cage, it is a lot of fighters from the area that, you know, they hang out, they party. A lot of friends of Cage Titans, they buy all those front row tickets and around the cage. When you were in that cage, I saw a lot of your South Sports, you know, South Shore liking John.
yeah.
Now, what, you know, he's fighting kind of a hometown guy, but I saw them kind of cheering on John. And why do you think that? Were they just respected his, you know, his game? Like, because virtually no one knew who this kid was coming in. You know?
I think like educated fans, right, just appreciate people that kind of know what they're doing, right, and that are good fighters. So I mean, I can't speak for the people who were, you know, were in those seats, but I feel like they're just like, all right, this dude's legit. Like, you know, I'm gonna cheer for him regardless of whether I know him or not. Now, if you're fighting the person's best friend, of course they're not gonna be like that. But I think most of the fans, unless it's someone from their gym, they're usually just like, all right, this dude's putting on a show. This guy's a good fighter. I'm gonna support that guy. You know what I mean? And you know, the people that you're talking about, always you see him cheering, like, how the hell? Why is he cheering for that guy over there? He doesn't know that guy. You know what I mean? And there's like, oh, this dude's a badass. I mean, even like, well, Richie knows this, like with Joe Penafiel, right? like Joe, everyone hated him when he fought Pat, right? And then you guys had your thing back and forth. So people
Yep.
kind of still were like, this guy sucks. I hate that guy. But then once he got through that, and then he sees that they see that he's like cool with the guys he fought too. Like, oh, now the guy's got 1 million fans up here, right? I think if you come and give a good performance, you get fans regardless, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I'm sure Aaron Trissell, I don't know if Aaron's married or has a girlfriend or whatever. I'm sure she's not going to cheer for him, but, you know, everyone else, you know.
Hey, and also, you know, Aaron is implanted from another
Louisiana
area,
or something,
yeah,
right?
Louisiana.
Yeah.
So
He's
it was
a scary dude,
he's
man.
just
That
been
guy's a
in.
beast, too.
You know, as far as him, John, he was like a big, you know, big name coming in. He's had a couple of big wins. We knew he was athletic, and you know, he had some really good wins, man. What'd you feel against this kid? You know what I mean? Because you went in there and you know, it wasn't even a match.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we watched the film. I mean, he was a tough kid. You know, he had a decent record, nothing special, but yeah, he never really he was on a good streak. I think I saw he was like 4-1 in his last 5. But I just knew he hadn't fought anyone near the ability of me. And I think that goes to that people down in that area didn't really know me from being, you know, not from the area. So I remember coming in and seeing a lot of people like doing fight predictions, and I knew he was from the area. I wasn't. So whatever. A lot of people were saying that he was going to beat me, this and that, and I was just kind of looking at it like, you know, I didn't really understand where people were getting that from. I think it was pretty clear that that outside of him landing, you know, some big punch early in the fight, that it was going to probably go one way. So yeah, I mean, I guess people didn't really know who I was down there, but I guess they do now. And you know, going forward, I think it'll be different. But yeah, he was a tough kid, dangerous fight. But I knew that, you know, I was levels above him, and you know, it was a good fight for me. So,
my man, last couple of questions. Let me backtrack back to the crowd, because you've been in a lot of crowds in New England. I remember Neff, you were having people basically threaten you while you were on top fighting.
That's the name.
Did you get any of that from
different.
Cage Titans as far as in the crowd? Was anyone like, you know, maybe saying anything, or was it a little more respectful from the Cage Titans crowd?
no, I didn't get anything. I didn't hear anyone say anything negatively. Like you were saying, I think most of it was positive. I had a lot of people saying like good fight, or before the fight, good luck and stuff that I didn't even know. I'm assuming they're from that area. Yeah, so there's no issues. Yeah, that Maine crowd, that was just a whole different.
That's Maine. That's different.
Yeah, those were some characters up there, but yeah, that was fun. Like when I fought in Boston for Combat T, they were a cool crowd. So yeah, it was just kind of that one incident up there in Maine. They were,
There you go.
but, I mean, it was fun. It was a good time. But yeah, there were some special humans up there.
Yeah, that's Maine for you.
I'm trying to remember, John. I know obviously you got to the ground really fast, but did he even land anything, or even anything glancing? I was trying to recall.
Up in Maine?
No, with Aaron, like in this last one.
No, I don't think he hit me when he threw the one right hand. Maybe that landed, but I don't remember really getting him with anything.
Right.
Well, my man, looks like your announcement, you're going to be in there sooner than later. And, man, now we're going to put the pieces together. And we're sure we're going to be seeing the announcement within the next few weeks. And if it's around here, man, you're going to blow up New England, bro. You're going to be that face. You already own the Neff 170-pound welterweight title. You know, having another fight and belt under your your waist there, man. This could be your sail away party.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? This next fight.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, this year, last year wasn't a good year, just with injuries and the way that last fight I had back in September went. Last year just wasn't a good year. So this year, I'm just looking to stay busy. I'm racking up wins this first half of this year, and I'm hoping to put myself in a spot for some big opportunities coming this summer, next fall. So we're just gonna stay busy. Whatever promotions are sending me fights, whatever fights they are, we're just gonna keep taking them. We're gonna keep getting wins, and by second half of the year, we're gonna be in a position for something bigger.
Oh, for sure.
All right, John, I'm going to say one last thing here. Your post-fight talk in the cage with Mr. Cupcakes, man. he was talking about, hey, who would you like to fight next? And I believe your quote might have been, hey, I'll fight anyone. These fighters in New England suck, or something like that.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that.
Remember that.
I missed that.
In so many words.
I think I said no disrespect first, but if they want to keep giving me easy fights with these New England guys,
Yes.
All right,
I do
so it
remember
wasn't that. All right,
I do
so I'm
remember
sorry
that.
but it was
Yeah.
too bad.
And I just, as my father once told me, anyone that starts a sentence with no disrespect, be prepared for what's about the disrespectful statement that's
Well,
about to
let me
go.
tell you, John and his dad, we have friends.
Yeah,
as far
yeah,
as Facebook Messenger, he busts my balls. He calls me a pussy all the time if I write anything. So I can just imagine. He told me this kid, is a bull. He's a wilderness fucking. He wrestles he'll. So this guy is a true sportsman, a true man's man, and his dad would kick all our asses. That's
I don't
all
doubt it.
know. His dad's a good guy.
You don't want to get him on the mic.
No, not at all. He wants to come
No, I
on
kinda
with him.
want to.
Forget it. We're not happening.
Let's call him in.
He still wants to get on podcast.
I know, exactly. We'll do that. Listen, when this fight gets announced and we get going, I'll have him on with you, all right? We'll have him on a little bit.
Be a weekly segment.
I might get kicked off Facebook because I know he gets kicked off all the time.
You might get in some trouble on that.
All right, my man. Hey, John, anything you want to leave off with or let you go?
No, nothing. Just shout out to all my training partners, sponsors, everyone that's been behind me up to this point. I appreciate all you guys, and we're gonna keep it rolling. Busy 2024, and we're gonna put ourselves in position to get the next level where I deserve to be by the end of this year. So I'm just excited. Gonna get back in that cage by the end of March. Get another win on our belt, and then keep this rolling.
Perfect. Congratulations, John. Thank you for the time tonight, and we'll definitely see you sooner than later back in that cage, getting to that next level. Man, thank you so much, John.
Can't wait. Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, take care, bro.
All right, we'll see you.
That was funny. His dad's like a fucking
Is
his
he?
dad's-
Animal.
I think he accidentally let a little bit of the cat out of the bag there. Did you hear that? Oh, by the end of March. Like,
Oh, there's a clue. Hint, hint.
I told you we'd get like
what car?
puzzle
Yeah,
pieces
what
here.
car?
Hint, hint.
So we know it's not
yeah, it's
April.
no big deal.
Right.
It ain't like a fucking UFC announcement, right? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It ain't like,
It's interesting.
We're gonna rip that contract up now.
I didn't realize he never
no.
wrestled
All
either.
right, so with
That's
that
nuts.
said, Richie
Yes.
and Brendon, who do you think would be the top 3 matchups in New England, or maybe
Well-
someone around the East Coast that you know about that
Yeah.
might be a challenge for him? Not if he fought in New England for any promotion in New England.
Well, I think the obvious
Rich's
choice. Well, so Everett coming off of those 2 devastating wins. That's a big one. And then Jack Condon is over there waiting in the wings. Who else is out there?
I think it's between those two and
I think so.
JoJo.
Those
If
are the top
JoJo wants
runners.
to
Yeah, if
defend,
JoJo
or
wants
to
to
if
come
Joe
back,
wants to go back to
exactly.
70.
Yeah, I mean, if it's cage Titans, I feel like it's one of those 3 guys. But,
That was one of the people that I noticed cheering for Mr. Piersma.
Oh, Joe.
So I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
is that
Interesting.
because he respects him, or he might hey,
fight him.
let this guy win?
Yeah,
I would like to fight this guy.
I mean, my assumption is that Joe was planning to go back to 55, but maybe March is
Who knows?
close enough, right? That
Yeah.
maybe he just said, screw it, I'll do 170. But yeah.
Or-
because he kind of vacated, right? But then didn't, because he and Lally
Yeah,
were
we
going
don't
to
know
fight.
if-
Yeah, I'm not sure
So he's
how that's
technically
going
still
on.
the champion, right? I don't know.
Technically.
Yeah, but I don't
yeah.
think I think he was only going to fight 170 because the Lally fight.
Right.
I don't think he was talking about really going. He was going to
Yeah.
concentrate on lightweight
Yeah.
at that point. Right?
Yeah, I guess that was a whole.
I like all.
thing.
I'll watch
I'm not
all
really
3
sure.
of those.
Those are all good
It'll be
fights.
fun.
So yeah. So
What's
if it's
Trevor
New England,
Goody
there you are.
doing these days?
What's that?
What's Trevor Goody doing these days? That's an interesting fight too.
With John Piersma?
Goody? Yeah.
Didn't he? Isn't he a couple of fights?
Has he
Was,
done
was
anything?
JoJo his last one? Was that his
JoJo
last
and
fight?
I don't
he lost
remember.
against Condon. So why?
Oh, I forgot he
That's
fought
right.
Jack,
Yeah,
too.
no,
I
yeah,
forgot he
it
fought-
would have to. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
if he's
right.
on a 2-fight skid,
you
yeah.
can't put
I
that
forgot
down.
about
mean,
Jack.
that'd be
Yeah,
tough.
yeah. I was the first person to float
listen,
that
I'm
fight,
gonna
by the
give
way.
a little beans here because I think wasn't Trevor's scheduled to fight for Combat FC or another
Maybe.
promotion? He had a matchup, and then that fight fell through like maybe a week or 2 before. I think Piersma threw his name in as a late
Oh, really?
notice. You know what I mean?
Okay. I didn't hear about that.
I think he was coming off that fight maybe with Sanad.
Okay.
First Combat FC. So
Yep,
he's
yep.
like, hey, and I think he actually went to that card that Trevor. But you mentioned Trevor's name, so I'm just, I'm giving
Yeah,
a
it's
little
just
thing.
I can't really think of too many 170s off the top of my head.
Well, if you look at it now, John made a statement at
What
Cage
about?
Titans.
How's
And
Jack's?
I was talking to John.
Is
I was-
Jack like back training? And we got
I
hurt,
think he's
right?
back, yeah.
I was talking to John at the after party, and we were talking about possibly, hey, if you came back to Cage Titans, who would you fight? And he was like, well, I would have to fight someone from New England. He goes, would they actually bring someone outside of New England to fight me when I'm not?
Could be a
Yeah, but
possibility.
you made a really good impact in that fight.
Yeah,
They could bring someone in
Right.
here
could happen. Yeah.
because you could be that next face for Cage.
Never
in
say
a Cage
never.
Titan, it isn't. You don't have to fight 7
And he's
times for
from-
Cage Titans
he's
to
from-
be their guy. You know what I mean?
He's from New York or
Yeah,
Jersey?
Rochester.
New York, yeah.
Rochester.
I think
Yeah,
it's one of those like
too
if,
far.
once you win the belt, they'll bring guys from wherever.
Yeah,
no
definitely.
matter- well, like Joe,
Yeah.
Penafiel, right? He won the belt. He's not from here, but he could fight whoever too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So
I'd
I
like to
think-
see him fight Jack. That would be.
Yeah, I think what John is.
Yeah, I
7
think
and
Jack
2 now?
needs something
7-2, I
big.
want to say.
Who's that? John?
John Pierce.
7-2. Yeah.
So what is Congdon like? 3-0?
Congdon's only
think
3
he's-
and 0
Yeah, so
though.
that's
That's the
good.
thing.
I mean,
But Congdon is good,
Yeah, he's
man.
good,
That kid's an
man.
animal.
He's
So
good.
good. So good. He's a
and that's
monster.
where when you look at records, like
Yeah, and then
you know
it's,
what I mean. Is that going to help John?
Yeah.
You know what I mean to propel him in fighting a 3-0 guy?
Yeah, and then it's also, and then Everett's kind of the same way. He's 3 and 0.
Yeah.
And he's also already talking about going down to 55. So it's like, does that even make sense for him to do that fight?
His fight against
I don't
Kyle
know.
was at
So-
55, right? Against Pufal was.
I think it was at
55.
65 or something like
65.
that.
Yeah, because he's
Yeah.
working his way down.
He's
to where
thick,
he
yeah.
wants to be. And if you really look, I think 170 might be a little. I mean, he probably beast up a ton of people in there.
He's just kind of short.
Locally, yeah, he's just that.
He's shorter than me. He's 5'6".
Is he 5'6"?
That dude's
No,
just a bowl.
I'm 5'7".
He's 5 shorter than. Yeah, you
He's
look
shorter
I
than
mean,
me.
Oh my God, he's a,
I
like that
think
punch that he
150
KO'd
I
that
think
dude with
155.
was
Him
like
at 55 is a
Oh
problem.
my goodness. Oh my
Like,
goodness.
that's nuts.
The
Yeah,
punch
that's what I'm
the punch he KO'd that dude with last week was like the shortest little.
It was
punch,
like
so
a,
he didn't wind up. He did not wind
Yeah.
up. It was practically barely more than a jab. Like my God, I know he'd
No.
hit him, hurt him before.
Yeah,
that,
he
but
was just throwing bombs.
And he took that knee to the face. He's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's
But it's one of
So,
those things where he's such a good grappler that he, like, on his feet, he just doesn't care.
Right. Right. Yeah, he doesn't care about getting taken down.
Yeah.
Well, like I tried, excuse me, tried to take him down a couple times. He had no
way.
success whatsoever. That's what I'm. Has Jack?
You're not gonna
Jack's
take that
never
kid
been
down.
on his back. Right? I feel like Jack's. I mean, Jack's never been
feel
out of
like
the first round. Has anyone ever taken Jack down?
I don't think he's ever been out of the first round.
Yeah, can't remember
No,
anyone
I
taking
think
him
he's-
down.
I mean,
he's never
I-
been in trouble.
The
Jack
only
is
time,
just
the only
ran
time he's ever
through
on the
everybody.
ground is when he's finishing the
Yeah,
guy that
smashing
he just
some
dropped
dude's
down
face
to the
in,
ground
right.
and pound,
Right.
you know
Yeah,
what I
he's
mean?
never. I don't think he's never really had much of a challenge yet.
That would be interesting with Piersma because Piersma obviously.
That's what I mean.
To me,
So that's
I
the-
mean, that
with-
would be that in my eyes, that would be the fight.
Yeah.
I think it's tough for Jack though, like coming back from a big injury.
Yeah.
That's a tough fight to take.
I think if you get
first.
Jack to like 5-0 and then they fight,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
would
yeah,
be
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
All right,
But then
so-
at that point, John's probably going to be like 10-2,
Right.
and then go into the
What
UFC.
about-
So
what about- do you think he's just frustrated at this point? What about Sean Lally?
I don't know. So I don't know what Sean's deal is because he was coming back to fight JoJo,
Yeah.
and I heard through the grapevine that he was. Once JoJo pulled out, he had no interest in fighting anybody
just
else.
Because
Yeah,
supposedly Everett volunteered to fight him, right?
Yeah,
I heard.
I
that
don't
Everett
know
volunteered
about
to
that.
step in. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I was
I
like,
didn't know
I don't
that.
know that for a fact. I was just told that, and I
Keep the main
think
event going?
he said,
Oh.
I think in his interview, one of his interviews, he may have said like, yeah, I told him I'd step in or whatever, but I don't know. Again, I don't know if that's factual or not, but I
Yeah.
heard that for sure.
Yeah, and Sean's at a he's at a weird point in his career where he's kind of
He doesn't have to fight.
he doesn't have
He
to
just
fight.
wants to get in there.
He's
he
not
really
doing
wanted
it.
that JoJo fight.
Yeah.
Talking to Mike Polvere behind the scenes.
Yeah, I
wanted that
think
fight.
I think he's fighting for himself,
Yeah.
and he's only going to do the fights that he wants to do.
Makes sense. Yeah, yeah. He's not trying to like build anything, right? He's,
Yeah.
he's doing his thing,
And he's been
Yeah.
there. He's been to the big show.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, exactly.
What
Yeah.
about? All right.
He's fun
so
to watch.
One
Too. I
last
like
name.
one
Because
last
this
name.
name was supposedly matched up against Piersma at one time. Cameron Lashinoff.
Oh, okay. I like that. What's he been doing? I haven't.
He didn't make weight. He was,
Oh.
all right, so he was supposed to fight Piersma.
Yeah.
Piersma had a knee problem, so he backed out of the Combat FC. So then they
Okay.
put Waterford against.
Oh, Sam
Sam
Watford.
Watford,
I
yeah.
think against
yes.
Cameron, and I think at weigh-ins Cameron was way over.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that fight was, and as you remember, he was fighting at the Ultimate Fighter at a 185.
Right.
You know, when he was really a 170.
Yes.
You know, so and that was going to be his first fight back from the Ultimate Fighter,
Yeah.
and maybe something
He
happened.
was big too. He's a thick guy.
Yeah.
So that was originally supposed to be a title
I'd
fight
like to see
against
that.
you know.
I'd love to
But
see
I don't
that.
know what Cameron's. I'm gonna have to go look at his Instagram, seeing
Yeah,
if he's
right.
training and
Yeah,
shit.
what's
You know
his
what I
deal?
mean?
What's going on with him?
Because that before Cameron went to the UFC Ultimate Fighter, he was the number one
number one guy, yeah.
in New
Yeah,
England.
yeah.
You know, he was like 5-1
was like-
in Bellator, 4-1 in
Yeah,
Bellator.
he was like 11-2 or
So
something like
good.
that.
And then he had that fight at Bellator when he took that punch and just went at the guy, and he ended up beating the fucking dude.
And he fought Billy too. Remember that?
Yeah, he beat Billy Goff.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Can we just? Billy Goff fought Cam Lockenoff. Cam was
1-0
like
or
10-1.
something,
Cam was 10-1, and Billy was like 1-1.
2-0.
Billy,
Yeah.
Billy is so funny. Like
Animal.
that dude.
Yeah.
That dude is so
Animal.
tough. Yeah, because I mean, R.I.P. You know, John Pico. But like that dude,
That fight was nuts.
like that guy came to South Shore, just like showed up one day.
Pico.
I
Yeah,
heard.
and like was just like tossing Manny around.
Yeah.
And we're like, what? And this is when Manny was still
Yeah.
fighting. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, passing away.
And
Yeah, I heard
yeah.
that.
It's so sad. But that dude would come in and just hammer the bag, and I'd be sitting there with my kids. My kids were even small at the time. We're just like, what the hell is this guy all about? He's a savage. That guy, like that guy was destined for the UFC if he, obviously,
Yeah, stayed out of-
tragic what
yeah.
happened to him and everything else.
I
But,
know in that fight with Billy, Billy took it all.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
If
That's what I'm
that
saying.
Got stopped with a
didn't
cut.
stop it.
Yeah.
Billy said, "I felt him fading. Like I knew
He was getting
coming
tired.
into
He was
the
getting
second
tired, yeah.
round,
He looked
I
like he was
might have been
getting
able to
tired.
take that
He was
fight
definitely
over, you know
getting
what I mean?
tired. Yeah, for sure.
And Billy's
For
such
sure
a
he was.
dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, Billy's a
I talked to Billy.
tough
Billy's
dude.
like, that night they shouldn't have stopped. On the podcast we interviewed, he goes, dude, my fucking skull was showing or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it
He
was
goes-
pretty bad,
He goes,
yeah.
you could actually see the bone.
Yeah, I remember Andy
my
was like, "Why'd they
skull."
stop it? Why'd they
Yeah,
stop
yeah,
it?"
yeah. I did the same thing. I will admit this. Remember, it was a couple cards ago is it the Nichols kid? He was fighting the Ryan Kennedy from Lausanne's, and he rocked Ryan real bad. Like had him out on his feet in the first round, and they stopped it because the Blaze, I think it's Blaze, I can't remember, they're brothers. He had the fight, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. There's nothing there. And then I saw it's like on his eyelid. The kid had this massive gash. I'm like, all right, just shut up.
You don't know right away.
Trust the
because
doctor,
there's
you
blood
idiot.
dripping,
Yeah,
and then when they do, you see that
It didn't look
flesh
bad at all.
flapping
Yeah.
and shit
Yeah,
like
he
that.
had like a hole in his eyelid. I'm not.
What about
stuff.
Oh,
fucking,
yeah.
what about Smith when he fought Andrew Valdina? His fucking lip was like friggin'.
Oh, I didn't
Will
see. I
Smith?
knew it was bloody. But
Will
I didn't see the
Oh
lip.
yeah,
Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah,
His
yeah,
lip
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
was
He had like a
friggin'
hole in his
split,
lip.
like fucking, like it was like a.
I didn't
Yes,
even see it. I
yes,
saw there
yes,
was a lot of
yes.
blood.
And the
I
fight
didn't
was
see
like-
what it
And
was
that
from,
one,
though.
yeah, and they had to stop it. And they
And
were.
that was a great.
That was such a
fight,
banger.
really
wasn't
good
it?
fight.
That was a great fight.
I'm looking at it now. Like, so let's just play make believe. Let's say Piersma is fighting for the 170 title on the
All right.
30th, right? That card, holy moly! Pete's meant to be fighting, right? Peter Barrett's
Yeah,
meant to be
Peter-
fighting.
Peter mentioned
Perrin has a matchup
Perrin's coming
supposedly.
back.
Is
right?
all right? Let's talk. All right, Perrin has a matchup, or is he fighting cupcakes?
I don't think I don't know this. I
I
know.
saw it.
Why
Table
is that
Titans-
not a
Table
matchup?
Titans. I saw Cupcakes goes if
if it's not Cupcakes,
if
yeah,
he
yeah,
fights
yeah,
anyone
yeah.
but me, there's something
And
going on.
Johnny's one of my favorite
Is it gonna
humans
be at
on the planet.
135,
great.
140,
I think
145?
Perrin said he wanted to fight at 45. I
Yeah,
don't
'cause
know.
he's coming off
but
the baby
but
and shit.
I don't know if it's Johnny. I assume not because I feel like someone would have said. I feel like I would have heard about it. I
feel like Johnny would have said something,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Like I haven't seen Johnny at all this
Yeah,
week,
would've
but I
been
feel like
blowing that up,
someone from the gym would have texted me like,
Yeah,
"Oh, Johnny, it's
something.
Johnny." So I'm assuming
Yeah.
it's not. But I mean, Perrin. If that fight happens, there was another one too. I think
Perrin.
Valdina might be on that card.
Valdina's
Yeah,
Just trying to
Valdina.
be-
A lot of guys are coming back.
and I'm just like, my God, that card's ridiculous. It's such a high level card here.
Yep.
For, and then of course one old bum who sucks.
All right, let's leave off with that, and then we'll leave off with Richie with Triforce, and we'll get out of here. But
to talk about me,
you
the waste of
mentioned
time.
that you've retired 17 times at this point.
Hell yeah,
From
It's just a
All right,
word, you know.
so-
Brett Favre of
No one has
local
to-
MMA.
It's just
so
a word.
what's going on? Because you are, I mean, they love you there.
Listen, I
Cage
should
Titans,
not.
you know what I mean?
I
So
should
go ahead.
not. I have no business fighting. Right, zero business fighting. It's one of those things where I really was done in July because I did the fundraiser for my buddy, right? And he, and I was like, all right, this is a reason to do it. This is a real reason to get back in there.
Oh, cool.
And But I was legitimately like, no way. So this fall, like my college soccer season, I didn't train at all. I just felt gross. I'm like, my God, I need to get back in shape. So I'm like, how the hell am I going to do this? Like, get the motivation. I'm like, well, if I book a fight, I have no choice, right? So I have to get back in shape. So, but it is a drug. I mean, Richie knows this.
It's a vicious cycle, though. You got to be careful with that mindset.
For sure. Like, honestly, like the condition of my joints, I should not be competing in anything. But whatever. What
All
are you
right,
gonna do, right?
let me ask you a question. All right, so you're ready to. It's going to be a pro fight.
Supposedly, yeah.
All right.
I mean, like, so the opponent and I have agreed on the fight and the weight. We're just waiting on Mike to confirm everything.
All right, so
and everything else. But
you're saying you're all broken up and all this stuff.
yes.
As far as what do they check when you're okay to fight? Like when they okay you got to go to your primary doctor. Hey, doctor, I want to beat someone
you
up.
just gotta get
How do you get
physical.
okay to fight? Is it from your primary doctor?
Yeah,
You can
just
get
need
your
a
physical there, yeah. But then you have to do, it depends too. Like, it's different for pro. It's different if
You
you're
have
old.
to do something through the
Like,
commission.
It's,
you have to
if
go
you're
through their
if you're
thing.
over 35,
Yeah.
there's certain
CAT scan.
things
You have to, but then you have to
EKG.
get that on your dime and all that other shit.
Correct.
As far as
Yes.
unless you make a deal with the promotion.
that.
Yeah,
help
and they
you out
cover
with
it,
that.
right.
Yeah,
Because,
it's so
you
you
know,
need a
This is why I
a
say
brain
broken, Steve.
You holy
That's-
shit.
That's-
Jesus fuck, dude.
So
I thought I was the
Yeah,
elephant.
Oh,
that's what my
God.
fucking leg looked like
Jesus.
when I nearly had it cut off. But
Yikes.
again, that's why I should not be fighting.
yeah, I heard about that. Yeah,
But yeah, like
But yeah,
you
you
get
need
your
a,
EKG,
10
your
years,
CAT
they're going to
scan.
be able to fucking,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, no. Be dead by
robotics
then.
will be on you. So
Yeah.
don't worry about
Goodness.
nothing.
Yeah, so to get licensed to fight, you need a physical, you need a brain scan, you need an EKG, and you need blood work.
Okay.
And
uh,
eye
Oh, and
test.
a dilated eye exam.
Next question. If you're doing an exhibition kickboxing match in the Cage Titans cage,
If it's done by
If
the
it's
what do
commission,
you need to
Exhibition?
do? Yes.
I
Just
don't
get an
know.
okay from the doctor and sign a release?
No, if it's see, that's where it gets weird because
There
I
you
don't
go.
even know if we can do an exhibition.
You do an exhibition grappling match, right?
Yeah, I know, but there's no striking involved.
yeah, it might be different. But you won't. It's
I
nothing
don't
crazy
know.
though. Like for you, especially, like you'll have to. They might make you get the brain scan just because of your age.
It's everything else. The
but the-
Skeletor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
I
Honestly,
mean-
no. The physical though, I can tell you where to go for the physical. If you go to the physical, they hardly check anything. It's basically make sure like your
I
heart's
feel
not going to
like
explode.
You can
you
bend
know.
and touch your
Yeah,
toes and
yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
I can
Yeah.
do
It's
all
physical.
Yeah, check your ears.
No,
your
but I
eyes,
think
yeah.
if we went to the commission and said, "Hey, we're gonna put these guys in headgear, 16
It's for charity.
It's for
Right.
charity. We're just
Yeah.
gonna have them go out there." Then we might not even have to get them involved.
Right.
July.
Because that to me is an
July,
exhibition.
people.
Nice. It might be one of those too, where
July
Mike
is
just says
happening.
to the commission, like, "Look, we're going to technically do it at intermission, right? Where
Right.
it doesn't even like, you know what I mean? So
You
it's
don't
still a
have to
real
touch
thing,
your
but
guy.
it's not like
I'm
And
just-
we'll
you know,
handle it.
they'll figure it out. Yeah, they're not going.
We are handling it.
Yeah,
Look at
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
Richie's
Because
like,
grappling
"Oh,
is like when we do grappling, like the commission's not involved.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's
yeah, and the kids
technically on our-
grappling
on
too,
But
our
yeah.
if you
dime.
think I walk into a cage with the commission would want to get involved,
Potentially.
that would be.
We're
fucking
gonna have
awesome.
to talk.
I
to
want.
them
I want
first.
fucking Kevin McDonald as my ref. That's all.
Nice, nice.
I love Kevin.
I want
Kevin's
Richie
great.
back in the booth.
Yeah.
I went to an officials training thing with Kevin, and he showed an example like to the people like, oh, you know, the mayhem that can happen. And it was actually my buddy's fight at one of the first CES guards was a huge brawl
no.
with everyone. in
Oh,
the
is that
cage.
right?
Yeah, yeah, that happened.
My buddy got hit with like a walkie-talkie in the head.
Oh
His head
yeah.
split
I
open.
saw-
and stuff.
Wasn't
Freaking
she
nuts.
senior in the middle of that?
Oh yeah,
trying
it was
to
nuts.
fucking break
Absolutely,
shit
it was
up?
the first live show I ever brought my wife to. She's like, "What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like,
Wait,
where
was that
am
the
I?"
one when Ron Marshall? Remember that?
No. That was late.
That was different, right?
No,
That was Springfield, right?
Wasn't it Springfield
so,
when he
yeah.
yelled at everyone like
At
or said
MGM?
they all threw the bears at him and
Oh, it's
Senior was
premiere.
like,
It's probably premiere.
"Stop
Oh, CES.
Yes.
Oh,
Stop
my God.
it!
Oh, my
That was
goodness.
everybody was throwing beers in the cage. That
It
was
was
nuts.
like that was
funny.
awesome.
That was
So
nuts.
funny.
It was great.
Yes.
Wow, it's good. All right, let's leave off with you, Richie.
yeah.
You'll be at
Me.
You'll be at Combat FC on Friday,
I'll be
helping
there.
out DC
Yep.
and John Duma. John Duma, he's going to win this fight. He will
defending
be.
the
What
title.
do you think is his future after this win?
I think he's got to get a call soon. I think it's almost contender season. So,
Contender season this year. Do you
in the
know
summer.
the weights? What's the weights going to be for the?
It's
contender
everybody. Oh, well, contender series is everybody.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it's not
Is that how
tough.
they
Yeah,
do
it's
it?
not
Oh, they
tough.
don't
Yeah,
do
yeah,
certain
yeah.
weights. All right,
Contender
all
they
right.
do all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
John
you
is a
mentioned-
tough dude,
you
man. That
mentioned,
guy's a beast.
We were talking earlier. The tough. That's happening again. Like, what's the?
So Ultimate Fighter
Yeah.
is like the TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing 45 and 85.
and that was the one Joe Giannetti was like,
Yeah.
took out the
Potentially
fight,
on,
thinking
yeah.
of getting on
And
there.
then, yeah.
And then, but when is that? When's that happening?
I think it starts filming like mid-March,
know.
maybe.
Yeah,
So
something
they're
like that.
already
Because I know they're
around
casting
the
now.
show at this point.
Yeah, they're
probably.
casting now. So.
Oh, all right. So
Yeah, so I don't know.
well, hopefully someone, it's fucking New England has got some luck. They had Mitch and Cameron latching off
Yep.
on the show.
On the same season, right? Yeah.
They had Joe Giannetti on
Joe's been
that
on there.
undefeated season, and now they got the
Started
next
with
one.
season
That's
one,
around.
man. We
Rico
had-
was on the last one, remember?
was it?
Rico.
Oh yeah, that's right too. I forgot
Rico.
about that. Yeah, there's been a
All
bunch.
about
Yeah, I
him.
mean,
Dude,
season
Rico
one
He
had
hasn't fought since then.
season one had 2 masked guys on it, right? And then,
What is he? 145?
Rico's a 35er.
well, Joe Lozon's on season 5.
Why does
Forget about
Joe Lozon knocked out Jens Pulver,
and then he
went
had
on
the
Ultimate
yeah,
Fighter.
and then
Fucked up.
Jens was a coach.
And
It's
Jens was one of the
Which
coaches.
is so funny. Like
That
how
should be
awkward
there.
is that? Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah,
That was
that's
awesome.
to this day my
Crazy.
biggest regret. I've told Joe this is I was so pissed. 'Cause Joe and I are from the same hometown, and I had watched him fight locally, and when he went to the UFC to fight Pulver, the odds were it was 7-1 against Joe. Right? And I was just like, I'm sitting there at home, like I should really just bet like $100 this
Yeah.
just for giggles, right, or whatever. And it, like last second, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm like, son of a bitch, he knocks the guy out.
Knocks him
inside
on
of
the
a minute.
first round.
Oh,
Kidding me?
unbelievable. So that season, Joe's season, The Ultimate Fighter, is the way I got my wife to finally watch MMA.
Oh, nice.
Because I was like, this guy went to our high school.
Yeah,
you got to watch
he's
this.
around the area.
And
We
then
gotta
of course
support
it's a
him.
reality show, right? So the drama. And she's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
all
yeah.
right,
She's
yeah,
like,
now I'm into it, right?
Oh.
Yeah. And then now she'll actually
Back
watch
then,
it.
it was real. They were like over the top.
That season was awesome. Him and Nate and all those guys.
That's when the show was still
Yeah,
good.
yeah, exactly. Unbelievable.
It was more. I mean, there was a little script to it, but a lot of it was like unscripted.
How are you going to script? How are you going to script Nate Diaz for anything?
They just had the
exactly.
best. They had the
Dude.
best characters.
He was that my favorite. One of my favorite parts of that whole show was when the guys were all running around in like thong, like underwear and shit, and Nate was just not having it. He's like, "What the fuck is this?" He's like, "I don't care if you're gay, but these dudes aren't gay. Like, what's the problem? I don't understand why they do it." Like, just listening to his commentary was so hilarious. That dude's unbelievable. I wish I came over and follow him everywhere.
Awesome. Last thing,
Yeah.
Triforce.
Drive for us.
You guys just moved in. Was it Monday or the last Monday? Was it this
Well,
past
it's been
Monday?
a year-long process apparently, but yeah, last Wednesday we had practice, and then it was like closed, and then Monday they opened up.
Yeah, because Tommy was asking me to come down last Wednesday to, because it was a big open mat for everyone. And
Yeah,
it was the last
it's huge.
day for
Yep.
all you guys, man. Was it an emotional day there? Like,
Yeah,
leaving
it was cool.
Triforce
Like
and
we took a picture. Like everybody was like, "Wow, like this is really our last time at the OG gym," and that was the gym that Pete started at. So it was
And
pretty
he
crazy.
got that. Was it from the boxing guy, Manfredo?
Yeah, from
Was that
Manfredo.
Manfredo's
It
gym,
was
right?
it was Manfredo's gym, and then Pete and Keith just like set up mats in the back room and started doing MMA.
And the
And then-
CrossFit place was.
And then
Next
the
took it
more,
over.
the more it became more about the MMA,
Yeah.
and then they took over the other side, and then Manfredo moved his gym. And
So
then,
the new spot, which is in the same building,
Same
locked
building.
down. TFW still in the
Yes.
front. Like
but
they have
it's technically one giant unit,
okay.
but it's like two completely different sides.
sectioned off.
Two different
Like,
entrances.
which is cool. Though. All right, so when they had training TFW, can you see them training too?
we
in the
share
main?
we share shower rooms.
but everything else is like
Everything else is separate.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you walk in the Triforce entrance, you'll just see Triforce. Once you go through the showers, you go through that door, and
then
there's
TFW,
TFW.
right?
But TFW has their own entrance.
Yeah,
and then
cool.
their thing. It's really cool.
Now, I know you have chiropractic services there.
We
with our
do.
boy there.
Anis,
You have,
he's the man.
He's like one of my son's good
he's
friends.
awesome.
Also, you have catering service or food service there
Yeah, Dylan runs the Black Belt Catering.
from across the street with
Yes.
the distillery. Or
Yes,
the
he's going to be
restaurant,
doing
what's going on.
food for them.
So what are they building that
It's a whole
area
network.
up? Are they building that area
I
around there now?
guess. I don't know. It's
So I mean, that's good, great.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because the Working Man Distillery is going to be right there across
Yeah.
the street. And yeah.
Is that
so
a
it's
restaurant
cool.
distillery? What do they do there? Like, you
they
can
do
like,
foods.
pub kind of food
yeah,
stuff?
pub foods. But
Yeah.
yeah, they're
So after you train at Triforce, get your ass
Yeah.
kicked,
There you
fucking
go.
take
Fix your back
some
and get a
fucking
snack.
homemade
Yeah,
shots across the
absolutely.
street.
there you go. That's what I'm saying.
Sounds like a war
Go to the
party.
chiropractor.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
It's
my
great
God.
fun.
But yeah, no, the new gym is unbelievable. I went yesterday, and I had seen it before I was done, and I was like, this place is so big, I'm getting it lost. But now that it's like done and all the lighting's done, it's like, wow, this place is something special.
Nice.
It's so
I
cool.
can't wait to come check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll come in there.
I have to pay another visit.
So maybe
down
get
there.
an interview with Pete and Keith about what's going on in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's funny because when I first started out, when I was first going to Triforce, I was interviewing the guys there. I would sit them down and I actually interviewed Pete and Keith there.
Yeah.
At there, and Pete told me the whole history of Triforce and like the history of Joe Lozon when they guys used to fight and how, it was a fucking incredible interview. You know what I mean? I didn't know Pete. I only knew him from like the coach, and I knew he owned the place.
Right.
But he was so personable and so happy to like
Such a
tell
brilliant
tell
guy
his
too.
stuff.
Super smart guy.
I want to do that again. You know what I mean? Maybe
person.
now we have the drum set down here. We know he's a drummer.
Yeah, he's gonna love that.
Should tell him.
I'm
Well,
gonna
we're
tell
gonna
him.
take a video.
I'm gonna
'cause
tell him that
let
it's
me
a
tell
nice
everyone
kit
before
too.
we go.
That is an expensive kit.
This man knows how to play fucking drums. I gotta say. So we're gonna take a little video of him. We'll throw it up on Instagram.
It's going to be the
fact.
groupie
When we
cheering.
leave. But I love it. Yeah, we're gonna get Pete down here.
Pete will love
you know
that.
What I mean?
That's a big reason for him to come down.
Let
He
him
might
know.
just come down
Yeah,
for
fuck
that.
you, Steve.
Yeah,
he doesn't
he'll
want to come
just,
for you.
He'll let his fighters interview. He'll just sit on the fucking stool over there.
No, but I was gonna say we have so many like the gym's so big. We have rooms now where if you came into like interview, like you could be like in a private room
Just
now.
bring him into the
And
room.
fucking-
Yeah.
It'll be sick.
Last thing I'm going to mention that last week Tommy was on. He was talking about the shower room in the old room. I think the old place it was just one shower or something.
Yep.
And he's kind of the shower boy. He told me he goes in there. He's like fucking got his penis flying around. He's the guy that talks to everybody.
I saw
He's the guy
multiple.
that
Yeah.
tells jokes in
He's the
there and
guy.
stuff like that. And I told him I can't even be in a urinal pissing next to a
Nah,
guy
it's super
talking to me.
weird.
I'm like,
Yeah.
buddy,
Yeah,
I'm
don't-
here
yeah.
for business.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
can't. I don't want my
Come
schlong
on.
hanging
Yeah.
around.
Can't shower
I
with
don't
the
want
boys.
some guy fucking toweling his crotch all. Well, I'm talking to him about fucking submission holds.
I visited Triforce one time and I saw two naked dudes in there.
There you go.
When I was just going to the bathroom.
I did that in high school. I don't need to see penises around.
Dude, and then some people forget to close the door.
all
It's
that
wild.
shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Well,
fucking awesome.
the lock on the bathroom door at Shell Shore doesn't even lock, so you're screwed. Everyone just walks
Is
in.
it a
everybody-
co-ed one? Everyone just
It's
goes
just
in
a
there.
one-seater, man. And, yeah, exactly. So there's so many naked folks in there getting running on.
I gotta
and
get
stuff.
to a gym. Fucking- so, Richie, do you have more showers in the? Is there a little more open up or?
Yeah,
is it
it's
Tommy
there's
proof?
two now.
Is it Tommy proof?
There's
At
two
least?
now, but I guess I've only been there once, so I guess we'll see.
Watch out for Tommy. He's that wrestling
Unbelievable.
locker room guy.
you
With
go.
that said, anything you guys want to leave off with? You're going to possibly making your pro debut.
We'll see, man.
in,
Possibly.
March,
Looks
right?
looks that way.
March.
Looks that
Let's
way.
go.
Richie, anything you want to say?
And then he's gonna get a shot at Greg Jones's OG belt.
No. Greg's my dude. I'd never
Why
fight Greg.
not?
So
he's just fighting
we
for
can
fun.
talk about that another
that'd
time
be
too.
cool. That
They-
was a good
this
fight
is-
with him and
charity.
Brian,
I
too.
gotta
Yeah.
say this too. So I was talking to Greg about this and to Gresh about this. They need to have a separation though, because here's what's happening. Greg wins the belt, right? And a bunch of like guys from back in the day are like, oh, I want to
wanna
fight for
come
that.
out,
But-
Bill Jones, all those guys.
But I'm like, this is a totally different thing. You have guys like that who've had like 10, 15,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
who are black belts for 20
Yeah.
years or whatever, and then you have like old, like Greg's been training for a while. Greg's a brown belt, he's really good, but then there's just old people. Right, who like did this as a hot, like someone like me, right? Like I picked this up in my mid 40s, right, just as something to do, whatever. I'm like, I'm gonna
Right.
fight. I was talking to Lee Metcalf, who's
That's
an old,
why.
an old South Shore guy, right? And Lee was
The old man belt?
Lee was like, oh,
I just wanted to call it the OMF.
yeah,
OMF?
Yeah.
old motherfucker, right? Yeah,
Oldest
exactly.
motherfucker.
Because that's
Nice one.
That's what I
was
wanted to call it.
so
And
that's-
Mike was like, no, the OG belt. And I'm
Because
like, all right.
then you bring the OG in, and that's when
Right.
it's like all the
'Cause
original
then guys
Yeah,
are
yeah.
like,
Because
well,
like
is he an OG,
Lee Metcalf
though?
from South Shore is
But
a
he
beast,
made it known
right?
as old guy belt, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I was like, Lee, you can't fight the dudes that are fighting for this. You would murder all these
Yeah.
guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't. Like, if I
Right.
fought
If
you,
he fought
you would
somebody
kill
at
me.
his,
yeah.
Bill Jones against him.
Right, yeah,
or,
so that's what I mean. It
just,
needs to be an OG, like,
Yeah, that's
and then
the
an old
OG
guy.
belt.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
yeah,
Lee,
yeah.
Lee
But no,
Gresh come out of,
Greg's my dude. I love that guy. I went down to Gresh's actually a couple weeks ago to train down there, but no, I would never. I mean, I'm sure Greg would, strangle
it's still
me.
for fun.
Yeah,
for
it would be
charity.
fun, but yeah,
Excellent.
it is what it is. But
Well,
no, I like fighting young dudes. You have nothing to lose when you fight the young guy, right?
Me
It's-
and
yeah.
Pico will have to come out with our own belt. It'll be like a Burger King belt or something like that.
Nice. Just bring a
So,
Burger
yeah, we
King
just wear the fucking
crown.
crown
That's
and
smart.
something
Okay.
like that. fucking. I'm already thinking of walkout
Draw on it
songs
with
right
cardboard.
now. That's how fucking fantasy this is.
That's good
Hey, you
times.
fucking call me out. What am I gonna do?
There you go.
I'm
I'm
in.
for it.
If he's in,
Nice.
It'll
I'm
sell
in.
tickets,
love
man.
it.
I'll
People
be at
will go.
Triforce, the new place, getting my ass kicked by Richie and all that.
Fucking
fine.
Rob Pico doesn't even fight, and he sells more tickets than some of the
Yeah,
fighters.
that's true.
exactly.
Actually, you're
It's
not wrong.
nuts.
He
You're not
does
wrong
great
about
things.
that.
It's
for them. He's a good
insane.
kid, man.
He does.
Good guy.
He does sell a lot of tickets.
You are gonna have a lot of fun if it ever happens leading up to it.
He
It's gonna be a
sells.
good
He
time.
sells all the front rows too.
Yeah.
Sometimes my guys will be like, "Oh, my parents want front row tickets." And I'll be
Sorry.
like, "Rob Pico bought them all."
Yeah,
Sorry.
you
We'll
got to
go
get
to
it
Rob
from him.
Pico, it might have a couple
Secondary,
left.
yeah, secondary market.
He even gives a
from
couple. I mean, he does the thing at Russell's place, right?
Yeah, he does
has
like a
pre-show or
a pre-game
Yeah.
whatever type deal at what is it?
Well, he does it
The
at the
brewery.
brewery too.
Yeah,
yeah,
the brewery.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys.
those people.
I think that's about it, man.
Yeah.
Richie, you got a busy weekend Friday night.
I do. And
Mr.
then
Boats getting ready for a fight in March.
CES.
and
Trying.
other stuff.
And then
CES,
CES
what's
is
going
in
on
2
with
weeks. I got a couple guys fighting there. Gary's fighting there. Sahib is fighting there. Damani's fighting there. You know Damani, right?
Maybe, huh?
You know Damani, right?
Did he fight at Cage Titans?
No, he fights at Rough and Rowdy.
Is he married to
The black kid with the
blonde
dreads.
woman?
Yes.
That kid's
They're not married, but yeah,
beast.
he's
Yeah,
gonna have his
girlfriend of
pro
the
debut.
champion, the Rough and Rowdy
Yeah,
champion
yeah.
woman there. I was supposed to have them both on the show. Maybe I'll.
Oh,
get them
you
both
should-
down.
yeah, 'cause-
I tried. Tommy was supposed to set it up.
I'll talk to him.
Set him up. Get him down here together.
Because
I
they
talked
won.
to him at,
They both
Connor.
won belts after the last Rough and Rowdy.
I was listen. I last thing I'm gonna say. I was at Connor's basement.
I think he said the
Yeah.
last thing like 5 times
Yeah,
already.
it's all right.
I'm like Mike Pulver.
We're gonna stay all night. We're good.
So I was at what the fuck was I? I was at Connor's basement and he was there.
Yeah.
And I was like, who's this fucking guy? And Connor, he trains at Triforce and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I started talking to him. But then I went to Combat FC when John Duma fought, won
Yep.
the belt.
Right. Yeah, I was there.
I was on mushrooms, fucking edibles,
Yeah,
weed,
yeah, yeah.
shit
And then
like
you
that.
were like,
and I was in the back
oh.
talking, and I was talking to him and his wife, and I'm like, no, I was talking to him. I'm like, hey, you're that guy from Triforce who's married to that blonde girl. Who's
Yeah.
rough around, and she's standing
And
right
she's
there.
right there.
And I'm yelling at you.
Brilliant.
Right
Yeah.
there. She goes,
Brilliant.
hey, that's me.
She's
I'm
like, yeah, that's me.
Oh my God. I'm like
Yeah.
all over.
Come on
"You
the
gotta
show."
Come to my podcast. So
Yeah.
Speaking
Okay,
of Connor,
I'll talk
and
to
I don't
him.
want to prolong this and say the last
more
thing again,
thing.
but isn't March 30th his? Isn't that his UFC
is that
debut
what it
too?
is?
I think so. I feel like it might be the
Connor?
same night. Yeah, Matthews.
Matthews.
Yeah,
He's
Oh, Connor Matthews.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Isn't
fighting
it?
in AC.
yeah, because I think that's the 30th as
I
well.
gotta
It's
get
gonna
a
be.
chat with him. I would love to have him.
I
down,
wanna
but
go
it's-
so bad.
That's gonna be.
It's hard
Same
to get
night
him
as
down,
Cage
yeah.
Titans.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's gonna be
Sucks.
interesting. Like,
that'll be huge. Everybody will.
I know.
It's gonna be
well,
early.
no,
might
what
have
I'm
to pull it
thinking
up
is
on my
what I was.
phone.
The reason I was asking is because so many of the guys that work with him, like potentially fighting right at Cage Titans, so that's gonna be a bit weird. That, like,
You know what?
true.
Here's an idea. Why don't they try to work the intermission around his fight?
We've talked about doing that before
You know what I mean?
with fighters fighting in the UFC.
It's an
on the same
idea.
night.
I mean, I know it's a
yeah,
lot
because you got to
to
figure
organize.
he'll be on the
with
prelims,
you
right?
know?
It'll
But
be
there's
on the
also
prelims, probably, right?
legality of it too, because
Oh,
you know
yeah.
how you know how that
Can't
works.
Fucking post that.
Yeah,
right,
and
right,
like when you know how like if you're having a fight
right.
at a bar, like it costs a lot more.
And more money. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
put it
could
at
you
fucking
imagine
3,000.
Yeah.
right. It's capacity.
Dana White's gonna
based.
blow up Memorial Hall.
Exactly. It's
I'll just have my
capacity
phone
based.
out.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's what I mean. So
That's
if
what
we-
everyone will be doing.
and
Everyone will be
we
in the
could
crowd.
do-
like,
we
on their
could
phone,
do
yeah.
it,
Yeah.
but it probably
right.
wouldn't be
Yeah,
legal.
Cage Titans would then be out of business.
Right.
And then we might
Yeah,
get in
just
trouble.
Like, hey, let's just rip off the UFC. Let's go.
3,000 pay-per-view
That's what I mean.
buys
So
on the win-
it could get
Good
weird.
idea though.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. We had talked about that one time when Manny fought, and Manny fought in the OC, and then we had a show the same night, and then Mike was like, "Oh, what if we like pull it up on intermission?" And I was like, "We could, but
Yeah.
probably shouldn't."
Yeah, might get a letter in the mail the next day. Speaking of, another guy who
wait
never
a
wrestled,
minute.
by the way. He's an unbelievable
Hear
wrestler.
me out.
Prelims are free.
Who's gonna know?
No.
It
But,
ain't like,
hold on.
it ain't like you're
No.
streaming it.
But listen,
live.
no.
It's just on the screen at the fucking at
But
the building.
it's
you know
not.
what I mean?
But here's the
You're
thing,
I
right.
don't know
though.
where this came from. China
Yeah.
fucking just sent this
And then
video
we got to
here.
tell everybody, "Hey, no flash
Ain't
photography while
fucking
this is
happening.
going on."
People be streaming off the fucking screen. You know how that works.
I think you can get away with it though, because I think the
probably
prelims
could.
are free.
Yeah,
It's not on
true.
the. He won't be on on pay per view. You wouldn't
Listen.
think,
Right.
right? So you probably could. I mean, if
probably-
you just showed his fight, you're not
Right.
gonna like. You
I
can't
don't
show.
know.
Yeah, I don't. If they, yeah, I think you could pull it off
Yeah.
if they're not streaming.
Yeah.
You know, one fight. You know, what I mean, one fight. Well, We'll talk about it. So with that said, man,
we'll figure
thank you
it
so
out.
much for coming on. I know
Thanks,
you
buddy.
drove at least an hour here, Brendon, man.
piece
Come
of
by
cake.
anytime. Make sure you guys have to
Oh, yeah.
sign the
Have I
wall
signed
of
it already?
thing. No, I
Probably.
don't think. Oh, maybe you did.
I
Was
don't
this
think
up?
I've signed it yet.
No, you haven't. And then I'm
like
gonna
my
record
fifth
Richie
time.
hitting the drums a little bit.
Sweet.
With that said, thank you
Hell
so
yeah,
much
dude.
for tonight, Richie.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend with the Triforce boys. Thank you so much, Brendon, for coming down, man.
Anytime, buddy.
Congratulations on that possible
Yeah, don't congratulate
pro
me yet.
debut in March. And we will be back next weekend with a couple of comedians
Nice.
in the room. So we're going to get that done. And then,
Oh yeah, you've been expanding too, right?
yeah,
Other
we're
things?
getting. I
That's
got
cool.
musicians coming down.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
Stuff like that. So,
Hell yeah.
well, and it was a lot to do with there was a lull in the MMA, and I left New England MMA. So I'm trying to, and there was no reason other than I'm trying to branch out,
Yeah.
other than
Cool. Absolutely.
MMA.
You're a podcast, do whatever you
exactly.
want.
So I want to be just known as the Room Podcast, Steve, and
Cool.
be my own person.
Nice.
Sweet.
Whatever I say is on me. So with that said, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you. Combat FC this Friday night. Check them out. Fight
Yep.
Pass. We will be doing a Fight Companion.
Nice.
Don't know when it's starting with the prelims and all this other shit, but we will be in this room at least by 7:30 Friday night. So with that said, thank you, everyone. We out.